Hey guys, welcome to Conquering Together. My name's Ian. This is my dad.
I'm Jared.
Super happy to be here today. Today is Father's Day, and actually, happy Father's Day, Dad. This is the first Father's Day in, I think, 6 years that I told you that.
7.
7 years. So, happy Father's Day, Dad. Crazy that we get to spend it doing this. So,
We're here.
yeah. So, a really awesome opportunity. First of all, I want to thank Trent with Spread the Positivity for helping us put this all together, and everyone
Awesome,
behind
man.
the scenes that's helping us get this going. So, so anyways, let's just dive into it. First of all, we also want to say Happy Father's Day to those out there that did not hear that yet today. There's so many guys out there that are fathers, and they don't hear that from their sons, from their daughters, from their loved ones, and our prayers go out to you, and happy Father's Day to you. So, without further ado, Dad, tell me a little bit about the Father's Days that we did not get to spend together.
Where do you want to start?
Let's take it back to where it kind of all started. What was the last good Father's Day that you had?
It was, I think it was 2016. It was actually my favorite Father's Day. Your mom had, I don't know if she had you guys write it, I don't know, but you guys had a jar, and it was like just little sayings. And that really meant a lot to me. Like, it was really cool. I don't know what happened to that jar. I don't know where it's at. But yeah, that was probably my favorite Father's Day, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. And what? How did that kind of feel? How is that so different from the other Father's Days that you've experienced, in terms of feeling and like value wise?
I mean, I felt like a dad, honestly. I felt appreciated. I felt respected. I felt like the man of the house. Yeah. And that all of you guys were loving on me, because the ones before that, I just was like, I don't want to do anything. I just let me not do anything just for one day. Nothing, not taking you guys anywhere, not mowing the yard, nothing. But that was my favorite one.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope there's going to be a favorite one in the future.
Yeah, well, hopefully this one can take the cake.
We'll see.
Well, so Father's Day, what do you think that the family should do for a father on Father's Day? How should the family frame Father's Day to fully respect their father and just show the most love to fathers around them? What is your perspective?
I mean, I think most men would agree that respect and love go hand in hand. You cannot love without respect. You cannot respect without love. And a man, he doesn't understand it. So if you don't respect him, then he doesn't feel like you love him. If you don't love him, then you don't respect him. And it's just, I mean, that's just, at least it was for me. Let's put it that way. It might not be for everybody. It was for me. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Okay. And so you're saying that the family should show their love through respect and their respect through love for the father on Father's Day.
Yeah.
And do you think that mark is missed a lot for the relationship between kids and family and father?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, what is it? The Father's Day is like one of the least celebrated days. I mean, honestly, let's be honest. Like, nobody's, I mean, and I don't want to take anything away from mothers. I mean, Mother's Day needs to be celebrated. Mm-hmm. Guys, celebrate Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. Seriously. Honor your mothers. They birthed you. Fathers sacrifice. Like, it's never talked about. And I don't understand why, because I mean, there is not a dad, and when I say dad, okay, a lot of people have that term, but to me, father and dad is earned. You cannot be in your kids' lives, or I should say, let me back that up. If you are not in your kids' lives, you did not earn the right to be called dad or father. So yeah.
You know, to do with our past, there were a lot of times where you weren't, quote unquote, in our lives, but you were wanting to.
That's an understatement.
I know I undersold that, but it's.
Oh gosh.
Do you think that in those times, could you even look at yourself in the mirror and call yourself a father, a dad?
Man, oof. I don't know.
What are your first thoughts?
My first thought is how desperate I wanted to be with you guys. And that but I hated myself. I hated myself for what I did to the family. Hated it. The shame, the guilt, the everything. And the being the not having the ability to be the father I wanted to be was killing me.
Are you saying the ability from within or physically and circumstantially the ability?
All the above. Literally, I would have rather been dead than, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Then face the fact of what you just said, the inability to fulfill your father role.
Yeah.
How prevalent do you think that is? I feel like,
For me,
no, I'm saying other fathers out there, there might be a father today that feels that exact same way, that looks at himself in the mirror and said that to himself this morning on Father's Day, that there's no hope and that he, as you said, rather be dead. What do you say to that guy?
what do I say now, or
What
what
do
did I
you-
say when I was back then? Which one do you want?
Of course now, because in hindsight, that was you.
Yeah.
What would you say to yourself in that scenario? And you can speak to how many men
I got a
in
better
that scenario.
I got a better thing. My therapist. My therapist asked me, in the height of everything, he said, "What do you want?" And I said, "Gary, I want to have my kids know my heart, and I want to win theirs." And he said, "Well, buckle up, buddy. You're going to war." He said, "You're going to win some battles, you're going to lose some battles, but you keep your sights set on that goal, that war, that path. You let nothing get in your way." And I didn't.
Yeah. So this was a fight for fatherhood for you. This is I mean, honestly, I'm on the other end of the barrel. I was the target in mind.
You
And
were.
it's weird to think about that. That I mean, it was definitely just, it was a roller coaster for both of us.
Yeah.
I'm glad that came out the
I
other
can't wait
the
to
other
hear
side.
what you tell me.
Yeah, and so you're saying that for this guy that's in the scenario that you're in, are you telling him that it's not going to be easy, but there is hope?
It's going to be the most difficult thing. Do you know what the scariest person in the world is? One who has nothing to lose. I had nothing to lose.
Right.
Nothing was going to stop me.
Yeah.
I will not be defeated. Failure was not an option.
Yeah. 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 What did that battle look like? What after he told you that? After he told you that, what was your initial goal? Where did you think you would be now
Not
when he told you that?
here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure.
No,
Yeah.
honestly, I called him a liar. I said, you're lying to me. No. I denied it. I'm like, no, you have no idea what you're talking about. You do not understand. I fought everybody who was like, don't give up, Jared. I was like, no, but you don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Do I remember what?
You remember making that?
That card?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the card.
It still made me laugh when I saw it, man.
Yeah, I do remember making this. So it's a Father's Day card. I don't know if you can tell, but it does not say Father's Day. It says Happy Farters Day. And then at the bottom, AKA Father's Day.
I loved it, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, it says, it's a little illustration. It says, it's supposed to be me checking on in the bathroom, my dad saying, "You okay in there?" And then he responds, "Yeah." "Oh, I'll be in here for a while." That's what I wrote.
That is every man's peaceful spot, man. That's where we get our thoughts. Is in the bathroom.
Yeah, man.
Oh man.
Interesting card. So, as it says here, you're the best farter I know. So.
I don't know. I think your brother takes the cake, actually.
And then look at this. It says the daily quote for today is, "Where do you think I got my farts from?" Said Ian. From dailyquotes.com. What was I? How old was I?
I have no idea, man.
Where was my mind at this
I don't
time?
know. I have no idea.
And then this card was obviously written by thou great and powerful Ian. Okay.
Who would have known? Your personal trainer would have come out then. You set the path already. You knew where you were going.
Right. Well, yeah. I can't believe you held on to that for that many years.
I never let it go once I got it back.
Yeah. Wow. Well, what were the Father's Days? Kind of give me a quick rundown of like your relationship with Father's Day for the last 7 years.
Ooh, how long we got? Where do you want to start, man?
Just whatever comes to mind. Highlight the good, the bad, the ugly. I just want to hear about it because.
All right. Well, I mean, Start off with the first one. That was rough. You know, there was an incident that happened. Honestly, I do not remember it. I actually had to text my mom and say what actually happened on that day, but I know it was bad. And she had her in her little prayer journal and everything. Shout out to Mom, thank you. She had it written that basically she had bought, because I had no money, she had bought sounds tickets. Spent like $150 on these sounds tickets. And to do that for me. And I didn't go. I was texted, are you coming? Are you coming? Are you coming? And I didn't. Instead, I sat alone in my room. And I sat there all day long. I don't even remember what I did. Actually, no, I do remember what I did. I went and got a bottle of rum and a Coke, and I just drank until I fell asleep. I do remember that. Wow. That one came back out of nowhere. Okay.
Yeah.
We're here. Yeah.
And that was the first Father's Day.
That was the first Father's Day after divorce.
Right.
Well, separation. Yeah. Yep. It's not a fun day.
Yeah.
The roughest Father's Day, that was not the roughest.
Yeah.
Two of them. Okay, we're going here. I guess I blocked these things out of my mind because, again, 2018 was a good yet bad day. And yeah, it's the first Father's Day without you. That my mom, again, shout out Mom.
Yeah.
Graham, what can you say? She came down, again, had no money. She took us all out to eat, and got to spend it with your brothers and sister. And it was but it was still, it still didn't feel complete. And yeah, and it just got honestly progressively worse for me, at least. The next year, that was the one I was thinking was the worst year. Yeah. Yeah, basically on the way I didn't have the money, but I had a credit card. At that time, I finally got my credit score up to where I could get a credit card. I was like, wow. And yeah, so I went and I bought these passes to go and do flyboarding. Like, you know, where you like stand on it and it comes out of the water and whatnot. Yeah. I was like, this is gonna be so cool. Yeah. The boys are gonna love it. I'm gonna love it. And your brothers and we headed off that way. And I remember having a conversation with your brother, and I was like, do you really want to spend less time with me? And he's like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, okay. I was like, I'd rather spend shorter yet quality time with them instead of quantity. Basically, quality over quantity is what I was trying to tell him. But man, inside my head, I was just hurt because I just felt they don't love me.
Yeah.
They don't want to be around me. And I got angry.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hold it in. And we all just fought. And I got to a place, especially after us, I got to a place where I was like, fine, I'm just taking you back. We're done. And I just turned the car around, went back, dropped them off. And I went back to the apartment and just, again, sat there, feeling worthless. Not fun. Yeah. Takes us to the next Father's Day.
Yeah.
That was a fun one too. Yeah. COVID was fun. Yeah, that was the pandemic one. And basically I was told, I don't think that your brothers came. Pretty sure they didn't, and I think I was told because of COVID, quarantine, yada, 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 whatever. And I was like, okay, we're going here. That's fine. I didn't think it was COVID. I think it was where I was at that time, where I was living, who I was living with, those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I spent half that year not having any of you guys around until your brother finally started coming back around, which was awesome. So yeah, that one sucked too.
Yeah.
2021, that's this one right here. That's sorry. This is 2021. I had actually forgotten it was Father's Day.
What do you mean? You just woke up one day?
No. So I was moving back from Nashville
Yeah.
to Murfreesboro, and I was so laser focused on trying to move back that I completely forgot it was Father's Day, and your brother was coming over, and I had already, I had a friend who was living in St. Louis at that time, and I was like, I'm coming up this weekend. I'm gonna grab, she was like, hey, you want to have these totes? And I'm like, yes, this would be perfect. I can pack up all the stuff and get moved out.
Yeah.
And so I was so laser focused on that I was like, I think it was like Thursday or Friday. I was like, oh crap, it's gonna be Father's Day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we gotta go to Busch Stadium. And your brother, he just went with it, first of all. He just went with it. And we went to Busch Stadium, that we did the tour, and that was a lot of fun. I just had a really fun day with him. Just me and him bonding and everything. And the coolest part was, and your brother, he just goes with the flow like I do.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you want to see where I grew up? I said, because I'm a child of divorced parents.
Yeah.
And so I would go and I'd visit that area, and I was like, hey, let's go see everything. And we kind of went and just kind of did a little tour, and I was like, I think I remember how to get to my dad's house. And I go there, and we pull up, and I was like, wow, there it is. And yeah, I go to your brother, and I'm like, I got to take a picture of this. And we did. But the coolest part was there was people there. And I didn't want to seem kind of weird and whatnot. I was already weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, do you mind if I take a picture of this place? I used to come here when I was a kid. My dad lived here, all that stuff. And they're like, who's your dad? And I'm like, Lynn Plummer. That's my dad. And they're like, you're his son? I'm like, yeah, I'm his son. He goes, we had no idea. We rent from him.
Yeah.
We had no idea that he had kids. I'm like, yep, I'm his son. I was like, it kind of fits, actually.
Yeah.
But it's fine. And so they're like, can we take a picture of you two? I'm like, sure, go right ahead. They're like, we're going to text that to his dad's wife and everything. And they texted that picture off to him. It was really kind of a cool moment. So, yeah, that was the kind of the highlight of the trip was just kind of reminiscing and seeing my old stomping grounds and sharing that with your brother. That was a cool day.
Yeah. So it's just, that was the day where, some of the things you highlighted, Brock just went with the flow of it.
Yeah, he just went with the flow. He's gotten used to my trips. I just go with the flow.
Yeah, and that was him showing the respect for you, and that showed the love. That's kind of what I feel like a family should do on Father's Day. Just
Brock's the rock.
It's the little things. It's not about like a expensive gift or, and you can apply this to anyone in life, but it's just sometimes about the little things. That make the hugest difference, because it's you just brushed over the fact that you went to Busch Stadium, but you really care, like,
St. Louis
you
Cardinals.
got to see my stomping grounds. So well, do you think that your Father's Days when you were a kid, what were those?
I have no idea. I don't remember. But I don't think we celebrated them. Actually, no. I think my mom made us call him every single Father's Day.
Really?
In fact, actually, I'm not telling that story, bro. By the way, a little inside joke. You can cut that out, Trent, if you want. My mom would force us to call our dad every single Sunday. Okay, I'm going here. We're telling the story. Literally, all right, here we're going. Why not?
Yeah.
Literally, I remember it was a Sunday. We had just gotten home from church, and I'm getting out of my church clothes because I hated getting dressed up. I had to, get dressed up, and I'm like, I'm just a jeans and t-shirt guy, and I'm like in slacks and a button up, and I was changing my clothes, and I was probably going to go outside and play over at the Green's house, or because they had a basketball gym and all that stuff. And my mom was like, your dad's on the phone. I'm like, I'm busy. And she's like, get out here now. Dude, I literally went out there stark naked and answered the phone. And my grandma Brown took a picture of it. My brother said he was going to embarrass me with it. I did it myself.
Oh, nice.
Got you, bro.
I see. Yeah.
When Graham says come, you come.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. We're here.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I think Father's Day is a super looked over, super important thing. And I think that it's up to just everyone to actually like prioritize Father's Day. There is a disconnect between the importance of fathers and what it should be these days. So I hope that the tides shift a little bit, and the least you can do is just one day of the year. sometimes that's just what a father asks for. Even if every single other day of the year they don't see any form of love or respect. If you can do it one day a year, just maybe call your dad today. Try to make it a little bit special. I think that's all that they want. What do you think?
Definitely.
Yeah.
We're men. It takes very little for us to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, on that note, I think if we can, I think it'd be great to get Dr. Green on here. So, Dr. Green, quick backstory: you are the one who birthed both me, my sister, and my two younger brothers. And yeah, you basically have seen us grow up, and in a way that. Let me redo that. I was fumbling over my words. So you were the one that birthed my sister, me, and my two younger brothers. And essentially you've seen us grow up our entire lives. And you, in a way, you were kind of the gateway to my father becoming a father. And you made my dad into a father. What has that been like to kind of see us grow up, and how do you feel with that responsibility of creating fathers, essentially?
Well, there's a lot of emphasis placed on motherhood, but it takes two to have a baby. It takes the mother and the father. And so it's so important to empower fathers to make them feel worthy to be able to fulfill that role. And so it's been a joy to see each of your brothers and your sister develop and grow up. And oftentimes when you would come back to Murray, Kentucky, I would try to make a point to go over to your grandmother's house and see y'all as you were visiting, to see how much you'd matured and grown up. So it's quite a privilege to have that opportunity to see a baby born, and then all of a sudden you see it develop. You see all the potential that comes out. It's really exciting, and I'm very proud of all of you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Dr. Green. It's been a while since I've spoken to you. I think it's been many years, at least 7 years. So it's funny. Yeah, I remember always going to Murray and kind of seeing you. You were just right next door, and knowing that you were the one that birthed me, it was just like it was really cool to see. So I'm glad that you were around, and appreciate that. So what does fatherhood mean to you? Because you kind of have a different perspective based on the average person on fatherhood. What does it mean to you specifically?
Well, I think men have the potential to make fantastic fathers. Mm-hmm. They need encouragement sometimes. Sometimes I think there's a priority given to motherhood and maybe not so much fatherhood. They're not recognized as much. There's actually different roles there. The mother oftentimes is seen as the caretaker, and at the same time, the father is more or less the provider and protector, which is altogether a different role, but that role is just as important as the caretaker, which is provided by the mother. So really, fathers don't need to be left out, but there can be instances where they are for whatever reason. And when they're left out, they can feel lonely, they can feel depressed, they can feel discouraged. And I think in the instance that I was hearing the podcast between you and your dad, when there's a situation where a young man is raised basically in a fatherless home, then oftentimes it's their desire and their will to be a better father than their father was. And if that is their motivation to be a better father than my father was, and they're frustrated in that effort because they're not allowed to do so for whatever reason, it can be very depressing. And so, when you realize just how valuable fathers are, it's so important to allow them to be fathers. Now, I think we all have to admit there's no mother that's perfect, there's no father that's perfect. And so that's just a given. But at the same time, that doesn't mean fathers and mothers don't love their children. And oftentimes they really appreciate their children. They prayed for the children. They were there when the children were born. They saw them when they were babies. And so it's so important for fathers to be allowed to be fathers and mothers to be allowed to be mothers. And, that makes better kids. That makes better children. Because children need not only the love of the mother, but they need that identity with their father. So important. And, sometimes I think that usually young parents are busy. I mean, right at the time when the child comes into the family, there's so much going on. They got a job. They got to provide income for the family. They got to work. And sometimes that causes friction in the family. Sometimes that causes, the fathers not to always be there when they would like to be there. So there's always the potential in every young family for problems to occur. But at the same time, if we can look beyond those problems and allow fathers to be fathers and mothers to be mothers, then it sure does make it better for the children. And so I've seen Addison when she come to Murray. I go over and see her. Brock was here in the car maybe a couple of years ago. I remember seeing Brock, and then I've seen you. So I don't know if I've seen Sean lately or not, but it's just
he was here. Well, no, I guess he wasn't here a couple weekends ago. But yeah, no. I forgot. I'm sorry, Dr. Green. Go.
Yeah. So it's been a joy. It's been a privilege. It's been a pleasure. But when fathers can't be fathers for whatever reason, when they want to be fathers, then that's extremely frustrating, demoralizing, and so forth. And so when a relationship can be restored, between child and parent, then that's just a beautiful thing. And the way I look at it, the past is the past. The future is what counts. Mm-hmm. We learn from the past, but the future is really what it's all about. How are we going to build that relationship? How are we going to call that mother on Mother's Day or call that father on Father's Day and make them feel special? I mean, that's really what it's all about, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's great, and I 100% agree. I feel like, so I'm sure there's been instances when you have had to give father advice to a new father, and you said just allow the father to be a father and the mother to be a mother, but what would you say some fathers miss the mark on, and how would you kind of point them in a different direction to avoid just the things that you see? I'm sure you see good, bad, and ugly of fatherhood. What is some of your advice for fathers out there? Dr. Green?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Did you hear my question?
I did.
Okay.
So where do fathers miss the mark?
Yeah. Well,
I guess the biggest thing really, in my thinking, is we leave God out. Even though we're raised in a Christian home or have Christian influence, there's a tendency sometimes to leave God out of the picture. Mm-hmm. And really, when it comes down to the rubber meets the road, God is our Heavenly Father, and we want to be earthly fathers. So we need to know all we can about God because He's a loving God. He's a loving Father. And I think that we can learn so much from reading the Bible, being around other people that are fathers that have a Christian influence. And I think they miss the mark when they leave God out.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the kids need to know that you love them. I mean, it takes sacrifice to be a father. I mean, a good father. It takes a lot of sacrifice because a lot of times the father has things they need to do, things they want to do. They have a lot of demands on them. And when they can juggle both things, meeting the needs of the child as well as meeting the needs and expectation of their boss at work. I mean, that's sometimes hard to juggle. And so I think kids sometimes have to be willing to realize their fathers aren't always perfect in everything they do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and still love them. You know, the Bible doesn't say a father has to be perfect for the child to honor the father.
Yeah.
It says honor your mother and father. It doesn't say honor your mother and father if they're perfect.
Yeah.
I remember after I punished my kids, occasionally I had to go in and cry and apologize because oftentimes, you know, maybe facts came to light that indicated that maybe I shouldn't have punished them. And I said, I'm new at this. I'm a first-time father. So I think it has to, when the child develops enough maturity to realize that they can still love their father, even though the father makes mistakes, then they've come a long way. So somehow as children, I think we expect our fathers to be perfect. You know, if they're not perfect, you know, then how can I honor them? Well, yeah, that's not what the Bible says. Honor your mother and father. At the same time, the parent has to go overboard, I think, to show that child how much they love them, how much they want to be with them, you know, how much they want to sacrifice for the child. And the child can see that. But there's times when dads are selfish, there's times when moms are selfish. And it just doesn't always come across. But as children grow up, I think as children grow up, and if they really are around a father that loves them, around a mother that loves them, I mean, they will sense that. They will sense that.
Yeah.
The thing I really appreciated, and I'll say the last thing, the thing I really appreciated is your dad said that your grandmother would call him to the phone and say, you're going to talk to your dad. She tried to build the relationship between your dad and his father.
Yeah.
That wasn't always reciprocated, but still she did her best effort to build a relationship between your father and his father. And I think when that can happen, then that's a beautiful thing. So anyway, we're not perfect, but still we should honor our fathers.
Yeah. So well said. So well said. I think there's an important thing that you said there. It's really important for, of course, the kids and the family to give grace to the father. But I think when it comes down to it, and Dad, you can attest to this, more than anything, you needed to allow grace for yourself. People make mistakes. Fathers make mistakes, as Dr. Green just said. I think fathers need to give grace on themselves that they're not going to make every single right decision. Dr. Green just had said that he had to go and apologize and admit that, hey, I was wrong. I probably shouldn't have punished you in the way that I did there. And he has to give grace to himself to say, you know, I'm not always going to be right. I'm not always going to make the right decisions. I'm not going to treat my kids in the way that they deserve to be treated sometimes. And I think once you can accept that grace for yourself, then it allows your kids to give that grace to you as well. I think that you have to lead into them giving you forgiveness and grace and mercy.
True.
Yes.
Speaking facts.
I think that's well said.
By the way, I want to kind of explain why Dr. Green is on here.
Yeah, go ahead.
We didn't really explain that now, did
Yeah.
we? So, you know, I grew up without a dad, or I should say a birth dad, my birth dad. I got to visit him every, a couple weeks out of the year. Honestly, I don't remember how much time I really spent up there. I do know that there was a period of time I just stopped going. I think that was after his 7th marriage. It was like, I'm done. And so, yeah. The reason Dr. Green is on here is that while I did not have my birth dad, I had 3 awesome dads that actually poured into my life. And Dr. Green is the last living dad. The other two I've lost. My uncle Steve, which is this I was given this hat. This was his hat.
Yeah.
He was a Cardinals fan too. He's also a Kansas City Royals fan, which I will forgive, but he liked the Cardinals as well. So yeah, I'm wearing this in honor of him. And then my Uncle Marlon, who that man had patience. 5 girls he raised. Oh man, and they are something. Love them all, love you guys. But yeah, no, it's yeah. Those were my dads. Those were my examples. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to honor Dr. Green and have him here to say thank you. Thank you for everything you did. Mm-hmm. Appreciate it, Dr. Green.
It's an honor to be here. Mm-hmm. You have a special family. God's given you a family.
Than I deserve.
All our families are different. So we think in terms that the family has to be a certain way for it to be special, but that's not the case. The family can be special of its own nature, regardless if it doesn't always mirror the way we'd like for it to be. Yeah. And building those relationships and showing the love, it always comes through. The love always comes through, and love is that big denominator that takes away all the things in the numerator that weren't so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Green, I want to ask you real quick, what was it like? Were you aware that you were kind of playing the father role for Dad, and what was that like, kind of showing that love to him when you saw that there was clearly a longing for it?
Well, we live next door to each other, and we would get up early in the morning to exercise. Now, you would appreciate that since you're a fitness trainer, right?
Yeah.
We get up. I was raised in a rural environment on a farm, and so I got up in the morning to feed the cows and the chickens and all those kind of things before school. Being in town didn't have that opportunity, but I thought, well, at least you can get up and you can exercise and go running, perhaps. Okay, so I wanted to include Jared and his brother in that if they wanted to, and so we would get up together and we'd lift some weights and oftentimes go running and different things like that.
We did. You were consistent. There were days you would knock on that window and I would be like, I'm going back to bed. It's too early. But you were consistent, Dr. Green. Every day. And I felt guilty because I'd be like, I see him running. Oh, I should be out there, but I don't want to. I want to go back to bed.
Include your dad. It was funny to include your dad, but realized I didn't really have the authority of a dad because he was really into the authority of his mother, and she knew his schedule. And as they got older, they were on the soccer team at Murray High School and all that. So they had a different schedule than maybe my family did. So we were kind of hit and miss, but it was a privilege to be involved. It was just a great privilege to be there and to see the potential. When you see a person like your dad, you realize they have a lot of potential. And you just like to see it unleashed and see what happens. So it was an exciting time, really exciting.
Yeah. That's beautiful that you had the ability to step into that role and that you did. Because I mean, I can speak from experience as a kid. That doesn't have a father figure in their life. That's all that you cling on to as a kid. Just cling on to something to lead you and guide you, and whether that be the next door neighbor or someone out of reach, someone online. It's just that's beautiful that you're able to help him out in that way. And I'm also that I'm glad that I was able to fill that gap that I was looking for, because I now am, have the father-son dynamic that I've been searching for throughout my teenage years.
I'm just enjoying the ride, man.
Yeah.
Just enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
I tell you, enjoy it while you can, because it's as beautiful as you want to make it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Dr. Green, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for giving your perspectives. And we hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dr.
Okay.
Green. Have a good one.
It's just talk to both of you. Thank you.
Yes.
right.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah. That was great. That we got to talk to him.
It was fun.
I genuinely have not talked to him in forever, and just the fact that I didn't know that he kind of played the father role in your life, so it's cool to hear. Yeah. I think this is perfect time to bring on a close friend of mine, get his perspective on Father's Day, and without further ado, Luke. This is Luke Cameron. This is my good buddy. Welcome, Luke.
What are you
What's up, man?
What's with the jug?
Walking in with a water jug.
Are you going to go out and feed the cows or something? What's going on?
Oh, man.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Yep.
going on?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here. Thank you guys for
All your
having me on the
fault, I'm
podcast.
here.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So,
Yeah. Well, Luke, glad to have you on this. Cool perspective, just to have a younger perspective on Father's Day and what it's been like for you growing up. I'll just let you kind of talk about fatherhood. Of course, you're not a father, but we all have our different perspectives on how important fatherhood is to us. And so, how has that played a role for you in your life?
yeah, that's a great question. First of all, happy Father's Day. And I want to say
Did you
happy-
call your dad? That's what we need to know.
I did. Yes, I did.
All right.
Yes, I did. 100%. So happy Father's Day. And then happy Father's Day to my dad, Kirk, and then also my birth dad. I'm adopted, which I'll kind of go into that a little bit. So I don't know if the mic is not good or not.
Nah, you good, man. Don't worry.
Okay,
about it.
cool.
We're here.
So Father's Day is an interesting day for me because I was adopted, and adoption brings a lot of different aspects in my life that were hard, but also that were beautiful. And I was adopted into an amazing home, and adoption has just played a huge role. But also seeing the role that my adopted dad, took with bringing us kids in. He adopted all of us kids first, and then he had his own kids.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
awesome.
he chose to, show the value of adoption. And then my mom is also adopted herself. So
No way.
adoption is a huge thing in our family. So, yeah, it's really great. But kind of going into that, into my adoption story, actually.
All right, let's get over here.
Yeah, my birth dad is a American Hispanic, and he's from Sonora. Oh, his birth family is from Sonora, Mexico.
Okay.
And then everyone else, like a couple of his siblings and stuff, live in Sierra Vista, Arizona. And so my birth dad grew up around drugs, alcohol, abuse, all these different things. And my birth mom, during this time, she was married to a man who was sent to jail for child pornography and drugs.
Whoa.
Yeah. So when he was sent to jail, then my birth mom met my birth dad. And when they met, they got involved into drugs together, sex, alcohol, everything. So they slept together, one night stand, and then they had me out of the one night stand. And
But
then,
that's a good thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
now you're
yeah, now it's a part of my story. But yeah, so when my birth mom went to go tell her husband in jail that she was pregnant with me, her husband in jail was like, no, you're not keeping this child. I'm going to abuse this child. This child is going somewhere else. You're either going to abort the child, you're going to put the child up for adoption, or if you do choose to keep the child, I'm going to abuse the child. And so for me, and then going into that, when my birth mom went to my birth dad and said, "Hey, I'm pregnant," my birth dad was like, "That was not me. I didn't do that." And so when I see my story, and this kind of, during the whole time of knowing my adoption story, I was 13 or 14 years old, and my sister came up to me, and she gave me my adoption file, and she was like, "You know you're not mom and dad's child." So when I open it up, and my parents wanted to share that story with me, they wanted to have a special moment to where either my dad could come and share it to me and be like, "Look, son, you may not be ours biologically, but you're mine because I love you and because you're bought with Christ's blood and you're in the family." So, when my birth family was going through that, when they were going through that, and during that time of when I was 13, 14 years old, understanding this, I was going through such like an identity crisis and trying to figure out who I was. So when we talk about Father's Day and we talk about this subject, Father's Day partially means something different to me, and that comes from the perspective of two men in my life who have dropped the ball, didn't rise to the occasion, and didn't adopt me or didn't keep me in their home, and so they both dropped the ball. But what I see in my story is the redemption behind it, and how God has enabled me 20 years later be able to find my birth family, but also forgive my birth dad and forgive all my family, my birth mom too, and they reconciled with each other. So that was from me seeing that was amazing. So so that's one angle of Father's Day that I see, and now I can fully rest in the fact that like I am appreciative of my relationship with my birth dad now, and he's very he strives to like have a relationship with me. So he calls me, we talk on the phone about life, and it's really good. It's still healing, and there's still a lot of things going around that to be able to keep our relationship in a forward momentum, and that just takes a lot of time. I mean, look at you and Ian. You guys now, I love seeing y'all's story like unfold. Seriously, like every single time your dad
all your fault. No, man,
but for real, like I love seeing y'all's story unravel, and it's like God's just taking a whole grand puzzle piece, and he's saying like, here's one piece to the story, and then Ian's over here listening. He's like, what else to the story, Dad? What else can I know? What else? But it's all coming together, and that's where it's a true testament to like y'all's relationship coming back is a true testament to that. God works things out for the good of those who love him.
Yeah.
And I think because y'all have been in your faith, y'all have been choosing to go down the right path. God has ignited you guys back together. And that's so encouraging for me too, because, through my adoption.
It's been a weird journey, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's been a weird journey, but a good, weird journey.
Yeah. Yeah. But like through my adoption story, I see God's faithfulness in bringing my birth dad back to me.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
And you're on your own weird but good journey.
Yeah. And everyone's story is beautiful and unique.
Awesome.
And it's, unique to everyone. So, and then the other flip side of my story, being adopted. So, my adopted family, were from California, raised. I shouldn't say born.
It's okay. We're fine. We're fine. It's okay. We'll get you. Into Tennessee life soon.
Hey, I'm trying. Look at me.
I
got some boots on. I'm trying hard. No, I'm trying hard. So my adopted dad has really shaped the mold of what a Christian home should look like.
Yeah.
And I know that everyone's story is, like I said, uniquely different.
Yeah.
Some kids come from a fatherless background. Some kids come from a background where there's redemption in their relationships.
Yeah.
And as Dr. Green was saying, is he believes there can be redemption in any relationship, you know? And so I see the way my dad led our family, and he not just like emotionally, physically, but spiritually was the number one way he kept our family together. And I'm very thankful for that. And we have, I actually got it tattooed on my leg. Me and Ian, we were going to the tattoo parlor, and I actually fainted when I got the tattoo. So I passed out. But the tattoo really signifies my family's, like, the structure of our family. And it says, love God, family first, work hard, tell the truth, be kind. And if you keep all those priorities in place, then your life is going to be in a good trajectory. And I know, like I said, everyone's story is different. So there are kids out there who don't have a father.
Yeah.
So I just want to recognize that and talk about that. But through my dad being the backbone of our family, it always has given me a standard to uphold in my life as a man, as a leader, as a spiritual leader. So all these different aspects.
I've seen that in you, man.
I mean, I'm trying.
No,
I'm trying.
you're doing a good job. You're rocking it.
Yeah, thank you. We're all a work in progress. So, but I see that role, and time and time again, I've seen my dad be able to show his love for us. And here's one aspect: through adoption, we were never loved more than another person. We were always equally
That's
loved.
So cool.
And so, like, for me coming into it, I can't say that, like, my love is different than my other siblings. Like, my parents just knew how to drill the Lord into us, and in the Lord in us, but also the love that they had for us.
That's right, man.
Uniquely.
Because you're no different than any of their others.
Yeah.
That's what's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm blessed. I'm super thankful for the home that I've grown up in. Southern California. Love the beach, love surfing. It's like one of my favorite things to do.
We don't have either.
I know. That's why you go to the mountains, you go to some lakes, and you do that.
We go shoot some guns.
Yeah. But there's one Bible verse that I really love, and it kind of captivates, one, what I think a father's role should be in a son's life, but also, like, the pathway for a son to reach or exceed of what a father has done for their son.
Yeah.
And the Bible verse is Proverbs 3:1-7. I'm not going to read, like, the whole thing, but it says Proverbs 3:1-7. My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart, for they will prolong life many years and bring you prosperity. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck and write them on the tablet of your heart. And I love that poetry at the end. It says, this is how much love a father gives for his son. And the perfect love we get is from Jesus, number one. But when we see that love from Jesus, and because my father, my adopted dad was trying to emulate Jesus, and he did really well. He wasn't perfect, of course, but it says,
all or not.
Yeah, it says, bind them around your neck and write them on the tablet of your heart. And I think that sinks so deeply for me, because that standard was always there. And every single time I fell short, I always had my family to go back to. And I always had God to go back to. I mean, I came from, like, kind of a background of, like, partying, drinking, smoking, doing all that. And I ran away from, one, God, most importantly, but two, my family, through that vice.
Yeah.
But the number one thing I can say is that my family never let me down. And they were always there to open arms. Hey, you can come back home. So,
Man, they're never going to, man. They're never going to.
yeah.
They're never going to.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why, like, I say all this, like, in this topic of, like, Father's Day, because genuinely, like, I'm proud of, like, both y'all's relationship and the amount of, like, humility both of y'all have had to have in order to say, hey, I want to pursue this again. I want to try it again, you know? And I just commend y'all both for that. And like Dr. Green said, is like he believes that there's redemption in everyone's life, and not just from your reputation or like things that hold you back, but the relationship between a father and a son, the father and a daughter, a husband and a wife. There's always room for a chance to like reignite that and bring that back. So I know I'm kind of rambling, but I love this song.
You're good, man.
I love this song Cody Johnson wrote, and it's Till You Can't.
Okay.
In the song, I'll read the lyrics. I'm not going to sing it because I'm a terrible singer.
Why not? We're here, man.
No.
We're here. Let's do it.
I know
Come on.
I know I'm dressed up country, but I don't have a y'all. I don't have a twang. You
I
know
don't
what
have
I'm
a y'all either, but I can
No.
do it.
But the Cody Johnson song says, it says here, hold on, let's see. I love this song. Where's the lyrics? Hold on, y'all.
Little technical difficulties. We got it.
No, but okay, here's the song. And it says, if you got a chance, take it. Take it while you got a chance. If you got a dream, chase it, because a dream won't chase you back. If you're going to love somebody, hold them as long and as strong and as close as you can.
That's awesome.
And you think of those lyrics, and like a father's wish for his son is that he grows up in the ways of the Lord, but also like to try and, you know, you were talking about earlier, like respect, and how if that respect is not given, then, you know, that relationship's gonna be hard, you know.
It is.
But a father wants a son to walk in those ways.
Yeah.
And one thing we talked about, Ian, and it was that you said that you can't hold a grudge. Well, you kind of said it in this way, but like you can't hold a grudge against your parents because they're living life for the first time, just like you.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuck out to me. I'm like, dang, my forgiveness needs to be. I need to forgive my parents or my siblings, and like, we're all living life for the first time.
Yeah.
There is no
You know?
manual on
No.
how to be a dad
Yeah.
or a parent. Doesn't matter. There is no manual. Doesn't matter. They write 1,000 books. I guarantee you. 4 kids, same mom, same dad, all 4 different. Every last one of them had to be done a different way. You could not say, I'm going to apply this to this one, this to this one. Could not do it. You had to speak it in a different way.
Yeah. And at that point, if it was that way, your kids would be clones of each other.
Right?
And you can,
They would be living in a different world.
yeah, no, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, my kind of tribute to Father's Day is just like, I want to say, like, obviously, again, like, happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
But also to my birth dad and my adopted dad. Like, I'm genuinely thankful for the restoration in those relationships and where God has brought me now. And now I'm trying to be a leader. We're trying to do that together. We do vision nights, and we have a whiteboard in my apartment, and we try and write our goals and our dreams. And actually, this podcast was on that whiteboard. So it's like cool to see that we're filling out
Thanks,
this
guys.
dream. We're growing, you know?
Yeah.
And he's an example. My dad's an example, and so many other dads around the world. So, yeah, my happy Father's Day. It's my way to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
That's
Great
amazing.
having you on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a great time. I'm so glad that we were able to kind of just build the value around Father's Day that I think deserves to be there. And as we say so much, just the value around it misses the mark sometimes. And I'll be the first one to say, like, I think that fatherhood and the role of a man is incredibly underplayed, and I'm not afraid to say that. And I think that the fact that we get to sit here today, and we truly want to show that love to a father that has not been able to hear that today, that has not even felt that has not felt that sense of hope in maybe a long time. We care, coming from a kid that my dad, you said that you thought you'd never talk to me again.
I resounded to the fact that you were gone forever.
Right.
Is that the way it resounded? I had basically come to terms with you were gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll be the first one to say, I, truly through God's grace, I was able to forgive in my heart quickly, and I took the step that I didn't want to do. I was led to take that step through God's grace to rekindle this, and I think that no matter the circumstance, no matter how deep you think you've dug yourself a hole, hope and reconciliation is always just right around the corner. You never know what's going to happen, and it just, as Dad said, it's a war. It takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So buckle down, prepare.
Yeah, well, I haven't gotten it finished yet.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's what this is.
Yeah.
That's
This
dope.
right here.
I love that.
This right here symbolizes that war.
Yeah.
Shout out to Todd Wilson at Absolute Inc. That dude, straight fire.
Did
Yeah.
you pass out when you got it, like me?
No, man, I fell asleep because I loved the pain.
And
Yeah.
you kind of talked about that too. We were talking about that last night, how like when you got the tattoo,
Yeah.
you felt an overwhelming peace when you got the tattoo.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
could
kind of
feel every single needle going into me, and I literally fell asleep on the table. And I woke up and I'm like, did I fall asleep, Todd? He goes, yeah, you're restored.
If I know anything, I know that place was reverberating with your snoring.
Yeah, I kept
You are not
guys
a
up
quiet snorer. Yeah.
Oh shoot! Yeah,
That's so interesting to hear, just the piece, because you're like, man, this pain that I'm feeling right now is nothing.
Nothing.
Is nothing compared.
Nothing
Compared.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Huh. That's awesome. Yeah. So that's just, man. Happy Father's Day. And yeah, it was a great time. I'm glad that this has been the coolest Father's Day that I've been able to be a part of so far.
Definitely one of my favorites.
It's very cool. Very cool. So,
Yeah.
any, I know that
Yeah.
you're wanting to end the podcast in a certain way.
I do. I had a lot of men pour into my life, directly, indirectly, and we want to honor every single one of them. And we got a little thing we've kind of cooked up for you guys. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Love you, son.
Love you too, Dad.
Love you, Luke.
love you too.
Or I
Love
should
you too,
say I
Luke.
hate you.
Well, awesome. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.
See ya. If you liked what you heard, we'd appreciate a like, share, or subscribe. We hope it helps you today as much as it does us. Whether you're on the uphill or downhill, you are not alone. Until next time, and keep conquering together.